Alrighty, so let's do a little bit of a news of the week episode on this Saturday afternoon. And you notice the audio quality is definitely much better than the previous episode that I've done in the news of the week, or actually all the video that I've done in this year on my channel. That's because I finally replaced the Blue Yeti's microphone that I broke last year, and then I kind of mentioned this in the last episode of the news of the week where since Black Friday was coming up, I was going to finally replace it, and I was hoping that there's going to be a huge discount that I can of course buy it for under $100. Well, I did buy it for under $100. I bought it for $90. Actually $99 if you include the tax, and I got right around 20% off this microphone. And I was kind of a little bit hesitant of whether or not should I buy it or not when I was buying this at the store, because it's right around that range where I wish it was going to be a little bit more cheaper and the discount would have been a little bit higher, around 30 or 40% off, but it's also at the range where I just cannot say no to the fact that this microphone is 20% off. So I decided to buy it, and that as I said, I bought it for $99, which compared to when I bought it a couple of years ago, I think I got it around $140 or $150 if you include the tax back then. Now, back then, the microphone was still very new and it was just introduced, and since it's as it gets older, the price, of course, is going to drop. But still, $99 is not a bad price to get a microphone that is considered one of the best microphone to use when you're doing a YouTube video. But that being said, let's actually now get back to the news of the week. And this week, the rumor mill have really kicked into overdrive. I mean, there has been a lot of rumors that has happened in the last couple of days. But let's us first talk about probably the biggest rumors that is surrounding in the MLS world is the Alan Pulido sweepstake. So I talked about this back on Tuesday, and I even made a single video talking about how the Quakes are offering Chivas $10 million if they can, of course, get their main striker Alan Pulido to San Jose. Now, on Wednesday, Orlando City basically joined into that sweepstake, and they also want to try to get Alan Pulido away from the Quakes. Now, on Thursday, Chivas did rumor that they want to negotiate with Alan Pulido so that he can, of course, extend his contract, that he has only 1.5 years left at Chivas. And at the same time, Alan Pulido actually publicly said that, he has heard about these MLS rumor, and he is definitely very likely that he wants to go to MLS. And he also said, and I quote, he wants an important team to pick him up to go to MLS. Now, I have no idea what he means by important, or what does he kind of mean an important team. Does it mean that it has to be a team in MLS that wins a lot of trophy and are a very recognized team in MLS, or is it there's an important figure in MLS that is currently, or an important figure to him that is currently coaching in MLS, that is the meaning of what he meant when he says important. But either way, it's very interesting, and that there's, after what he kind of said, probably just put out a lot of flags that says that maybe he's not going to be staying at Chivas and that he's going to go to MLS. Now, yesterday, there was another rumor saying that Orlando City and San Jose is not the only team that is joining into this Alan Pulido sweepstake. SKC and Chicago are the latest team now joined in the Alan Pulido sweepstake. Although, one thing I will say is that they, like Orlando City, have not mentioned how much they're going to pay for. And so far, the only team that has mentioned how much they're going to pay for Alan Pulido is the Quakes. They offer him $10 million, and it's going to be interesting to see if any of these three teams is going to match or even put a higher bid in terms of that. I mean, this is very interesting, and that, as a Quakes fan, I'm hoping that potentially he will accept us, especially the fact that, he has the Mateus Almeida connection, and that when Almeida was coaching at Chivas, Alan Pulido was basically his main goal scorer. And if he does come to San Jose, then you talk about finally getting potentially a a goal scorer that we desperately needed for the past couple of years. And this is no disrespect to Wando, who is still our main goal scorer, but it's just getting to a time where besides Wando, we just don't have a reliable goal scorer. And that if Pulido does come to MLS and does come to the Quakes, we finally might be able to solve one of our biggest problem that we are facing in the next couple of years. But we shall see how this rumor is going to play out. And that, as I said back on Tuesday, I was talking about how, I have heard this story about the Quakes rumor a big time player down in Mexico, and most of the time it just fizzles out. Well, it hasn't fizzled out at all right now, and in fact, it just gets stronger and stronger as we go. So, next week is going to be interesting to see what's going to be the latest update in terms of this, and whether or not is he actually going to become to MLS and joining one of these 4 teams that is rumored to try to get him, or the fact that Chivas is going to potentially keep him and maybe even continue this negotiation for him to extend his contract and stay with Chivas. Nashville SC is rumored to sign young Honduran international defender Daniel Maldonado. So this is a guy that is only 17 years old, and I think Nashville wants to sign him just so that they can have him to be in their academy and kind of being a prospect kind of player that each MLS team always tends to have. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not if this deal would go. Well, actually, I heard they're getting very close in terms of getting this deal done, and we shall see, with this prospect Maldonado, whether or not if he's going to reach his potential. That what Nashville thinks that when they sign this guy, that he definitely have a lot of potential of being a good MLS player. Peruvian forward Alejandro Hortberg rumored to head to MLS, and that there was numerous MLS club that was rumored to get him. Now, this is a guy that I think he's now right in the prime of his year. I think he's like 29 years old right now. But one thing that these MLS club that is rumored to get him is that he is basically a journeyman during his career. Like, he has been playing with many different clubs around Europe, South America, and even in Asia. So, it's definitely a bit of a risk to try to sign a journeyman and sign a guy that tends to never settle for a club in a long period of spell. But we shall see which club would want to take that risk and whether or not can he be a productive player going forward if he does come to MLS. Rising Mexican star Juan Jose Marcia report to have received offer from MLS club, and this MLS club, from what I heard, is the Chicago Fire. And this kind of also connects back to what I want to talk about in terms of the first news of this episode, is that the Fire, they want to get this rising Mexican star Juan Jose Marcia, which I believe he's also a striker, if I remember. And if they're going to try to potentially get him, do they need to think about getting Pulido too? Because, I've thought a lot of people have said that they were probably going to get him instead of Pulido, but right now it's, I guess maybe they're trying to approach both, and maybe this is kind of like a backup plan in terms of if they are not going to get Pulido as their main striker of the sweepstake. But if I would have gone with if I was a Chicago Fire, and if I would have gone either Pulido or this young rising Mexican star Juan Jose Marcia, I would definitely go with Marcia. Especially, I have heard that he has shown a lot of potential and that he did very well when he was with Leon in Liga MX. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not if they're going to sign him, or whether or not if they're even thinking about getting Pulido instead of getting Marcia, as it's rumored. The Galaxy have been rumored to get winger Ricardo Centeno and midfield Nacho Fernandez. And no, this is not the Nacho Fernandez from Real Madrid. This is the Nacho Fernandez from River Plate. And this is definitely kind of another one of those rumors where the Galaxy are just so desperate in terms of trying to get attacker that they keep forgetting that their biggest problem is trying to sign a couple of defender. I mean, it's getting to a cliche that I feel like I'm getting tired of just mention. Why in the world is the Galaxy keep thinking about adding some attacking pieces when their biggest issue is their defense? But I guess they decided that they want to add some more depth. I've heard that if they're going to potentially sign Nacho Fernandez, it's probably going to be off of a DP contract. Consider he is currently playing in River Plate, and that signing your DP as a midfield, and especially knowing the Galaxy already have a midfield as a designated player in Jonathan Dos Santos, that just doesn't seem like it's a very smart move. And consider they need somebody to replace Zlatan going forward since he has left the team this offseason, and that there's been a lot of rumor that they were going to try to get a DP striker this offseason. This move would definitely not make sense if they were going to get Nacho Fernandez and that they're going to get him on a DP contract. But we shall see how that's going to go in terms of both of these players, and whether or not if either of them is going to end up with the Galaxy. I mean, again, I think the midfield of the Galaxy is decent enough where I don't think they really need another DP caliber player in that midfield. The attack, maybe they need a couple of pieces, knowing the fact that Zlatan, of course, is already gone with the team, and potentially Alessandrini might be the next one to go. So they need to replace some of that attacking threat going forward. But as I said many times before, they need to fix this defense. If they do not fix this defense, it doesn't matter who exactly they're going to sign and what kind of good attacking pieces that they're going to sign going forward. As long as if they don't fix this defense, and we've seen it for the past couple of seasons, it doesn't matter that you have a good attack. If you do not have a defense that doesn't give up more than 3 or 4 goals in a game, then you are just in deep trouble. So yeah, moving on in terms of the next news is that Dallas have reported to sign Brazilian midfield Thiago Santos. And when I have seen what Dallas have done this offseason, it's kind of a very smart move, with the fact that I know they have a lot of kind of young pieces and a lot of young talented player from their academy that is considered pretty good, and that they have a lot of potential to fit with. But one thing that Dallas really kind of lacks is that they don't really have a lot of experienced player in their roster, and this offseason they have tried to solve that issue with getting some experienced player into their roster so that they can at least use those experienced players to teach those youngsters to how to fulfill their potential. So signing Brazilian midfield Thiago Santos, which I believe he's now 30 years old and he has a lot of experience during his playing career, I think this would be a very smart move. And I also have heard they are very close in terms of signing him. So expect this deal to probably complete in a couple of days. But like I said, I think Dallas is being very smart about this heading into this new season by getting some veteran players so that they can, of course, use them as players that potentially could be starters for them, and that they can also potentially use them to teach these youngsters that they have so many in their roster to try to go to the next level. The Galaxy attacker Uriel Antuna signs for Chivas, as it was reported a couple of days ago, and actually this is where the rumor mill kind of stopped, and that all the news of the rumors that has happened the last couple of days is going to stop, as these next couple of news are just a couple of things that has to do with stadium and potentially knowing who is going to be the next, or the Inter Miami manager heading into their inaugural year. But first of all, we got the Galaxy attacker Uriel Antuna decide to sign for Chivas. And when I first saw this news, that makes me think now that Pulido might be thinking about leaving, because if Chivas is thinking about getting another attacker and getting a striker in Uriel Antuna, most likely this means that he's going to be the guy that is going to replace Pulido, and that they probably want to sign Otuna, knowing the fact that if they do lose Pulido, at least they're going to get a very decent kind of striker in Uriel Antuna as their replacement. And, the Galaxy, they had the option to potentially sign him on a permanent deal. He's currently on loan with Man City, and I guess Chivas decided that they want to pick him up, and I'm not quite sure did they actually sign on a permanent deal from Man City or if this is just a loan deal, but they want to get him, and that they are getting him, like I said, potentially if Alan Pulido does leave, he's going to be in place of that spot. Taylor Twellman reported that Patrick Vieira is the top target as the head coach for Inter Miami. So after just numerous report of who exactly is going to be the first ever head coach for Inter Miami, and after Jorge Mas have basically kind of teased the fact that this is going to be a big name and that they would eventually find a head coach that will fit this team heading into the inaugural year, it looked like Taylor Twellman basically just said that Jorge Mas might be looking into former NYCFC manager Patrick Vieira, and I think this is definitely a good kind of signing for their first head coach in their franchise history, knowing the fact that Vieira did very good when he was with NYCFC, and he definitely did very well in terms of the fact that he's able to get the team to almost winning the Supporter Shield that year, and that even though they didn't really do much in the playoffs, at least he really kind of got this team to the next level and really got this team to be a contender in MLS. And right now he's going to be coming to an Inter Miami job where he's going to kind of have a similar roster that he worked with NYCFC, where you got a couple of these kind of players that is young, kind of South American player, and you potentially are going to get kind of like a David Villa kind of type of player at Inter Miami, as they've been rumored to potentially get Luis Suarez and Edison Cavani as their main strikers. So I think this will perfectly fit for Patrick Vieira, and that we shall see whether or not if this rumor is going to come true. Lastly, there is a report of negotiation of a stadium deal for a potential MLS team in Las Vegas that has now extended to February. And I guess there's a couple of reasons why this is the case. The first reason might be they're having some issue in terms of where exactly they're going to build this stadium, or they're having some issue with the city of Las Vegas. Or the second reason, and this is probably the most obvious reason, is because it's been a very slow news cycle in terms of the race for the last expansion team in the expansion race to 30 teams in MLS. And, I will say this, whoever is going to get this last spot in the expansion race, and whoever is going to get the upper hand, I feel like is going to be the one that's going to get the stadium deal done first, and that they're also going to have a lot of finance to try to pay to the league so that they can of course expand it to MLS. And they also have a favorable market that MLS can look at and see that they can use that market to earn a lot of revenue off of. And right now Las Vegas certainly has a lot of that revenue that the league really wants to, and in many ways they're kind of copying what the NHL and NFL is doing, where they decided that, hey, let's go to Las Vegas, where pretty much this is where all the profit is going to come into the league, and that if we put a team there, that is exactly what's going to happen. And right now MLS is trying to do the same thing. The problem is Las Vegas doesn't have the stadium deal done, and as long as if the league seeds a city that doesn't have a stadium deal in place, and that they don't officially announce that they will build the stadium right after they announce that they're going to be the 30th team to come to MLS, they're not going to award that city an MLS team. So I think for Vegas, if they really want to have an MLS team, and I know the league really wants to put this team to Las Vegas with the way how much money is there, they need to eventually figure out the stadium deal, because if they don't figure it out, the league is not going to consider it, even though they have a lot of money there, so that they can use that money to generate a lot of profit to the league. But that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of all these rumors. And as always, if I miss any rumors or any news in these last couple of days, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.